The half square triangle is a quilt block that has been used for generations to create beautiful geometric patterns for quilted blankets. And in today's video, I'm going to share how you can use this well-loved square to create your own unique designs. Only instead of quilting them, we'll be crocheting. This is a versatile and easy square to make, but I do have some little tricks that help to make these blocks look more cohesive. And I've added a few extra tips at the end of the video that you might find interesting, so be sure to check that out. As always, there are timestamps along the progress line to help you skip to your point of interest, so let's get started. For this pattern, we are going to be flipping our work after every round, meaning that we'll be on the right side for round 1, the wrong side for round 2, and then back to the right side for round 3. In my opinion, this will give a more cohesive look to the work, but you can absolutely stay on the same side for the entire 3 rounds, and I'll explain more about that later. To get started, create a magic ring. And then chain 3. I do like to count the chain that I used to form my ring as one of my chain 3, but that's completely optional. Another quick tip here is you might like to start with a chain 4 with a slip stitch instead of doing a magic ring, because this will be a bit fiddly when we start bringing in the second color. This chain 3 does serve as your first double crochet, and now we're going to make 2 more double crochets to form our first granny cluster. We're basically just making a solid granny square that's just divided into 2 colors. So 2 double crochets into the ring to form our first cluster. Chain 2, that's forming our first corner. Now let's do another cluster. 3 double crochets into the ring. Typically, we continue on with a chain 2 in our next cluster, but this is where we're going to bring in our new color. So to bring in the new color, we're just going to do half of that chain 2 in this color. So let's just chain 1, bring in your new color, and pull it through the chain, and then chain 1. Because we're going to be turning our work after every round, we do not want to carry any of these colors with us. If you do want to stay on the same side for the entire square, then you will want to carry this white yarn along as you're working, so just keep that in mind. But because we're turning our work, we don't want to do that. So one thing that kind of helps is just to pull it forward so you can keep an eye on it. So now we're just going to continue on with our cluster. That's 3 double crochets. Chain 2. And 3 double crochets. Great. I'm going to tighten my area here. And now we have our final chain 2. 1, 2. And now we're going to slip stitch into the top of the chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Turn, and now we're ready for round 2. Slip stitch into the chain space. So now we're in a corner space, and for our corners we're going to be doing 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets. So since we're in the corner and we're dividing this into 2 colors, we're going to do 2 double crochets in this corner in this pink. Normally I chain 3, but I have found that chain 2 works a lot better for this project, so I'm going to chain 2. But again, that is completely optional. I'm just trying to keep things a little bit more tight and cohesive since I'm working with 2 colors. Double crochet into the same space. And now we're going to work a double crochet into the top of the previous doubles from below. Now because we're on the wrong side, it's a little bit more difficult to see where those are. But just look for the V's above, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And you just want to make sure that you're picking up that V from the top. So working our next 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. We've reached a corner. We're going to do 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 doubles. 1, 2, chain 2, 2 double crochets. Now again, we need to do a double crochet into the top of the previous doubles. So there's 3 of them. 1, 2, and 3. And here we are. We can see that we're getting ready to change colors again. So we're going to do half in the pink and then half in the white. We're in our corner, so it'll be 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. And now chain 1 for the first half, drop the pink. I find bringing it forward helps a lot just to keep it out of the way. Otherwise, I accidentally pull it along with me. Bring in your new color, pull it through the loop, chain 1. And now we're going to do our 2 double crochets into the same space. Now you see you have a little strand here. This is going to happen each time. Once you create your 2 double crochets into the space, you don't see it that much. But I'm not very fond of it, so I do have a little trick here that I want to share with you. You may like it, you may not, but I just want to show you just in case. What I like to do is incorporate it into my double crochet. So I'm just going to do my double crochet as normal, but catch it as I'm working. So I yarn over, I go in and I grab it right before I go into the space, pull my yarn through. And now I do have 4 loops on my hook, but I'm just going to start my double crochet as normal. Yarn over and pull through 2. And then I yarn over and pull through all 3 of the loops. And that way I've caught that little strand in with that double crochet. And then I do my second double. And that's what it looks like on this side and then on this side. Continue on doing a double crochet into the top of the previous doubles. We're back to a corner, 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles, all in the same space. We need to do 3 more double crochets into the previous doubles. 1, 2, and 3. Now we do have that join there, so we're just going to fit it right in there. Great. We've already created our 2 double crochets for this corner, so we just need to complete it with the other side. So 2 doubles into that space. Chain 2, and then a slip stitch into the top of the chain 3. I only did a chain 2, so I'm going right in there with my slip stitch. Turn your work and create a slip stitch into the chain space. For round 3, we're back on the right side, so we're just going to chain 2 or 3 to serve as our first double crochet. I'm just doing a chain 2 and then another double crochet into the same space. For round 2, we did 7 double crochets, and so we want to make sure that we get a double crochet into the top of each of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now 2 doubles into the corner, chain 2, 2 doubles into the corner. Seven double crochets, 1 for each double underneath. There's our last one. We're back to a corner. We need to do 2 double crochets. And you can see we're getting ready for a color change, so we need to stop there. Let's add our chain 1 to make sure we're halfway. You're going to see 11 on the sides now. We're building each round by 4. So we had 3, 7, and now after your doubles on the side, you'll see 11. Bring in your new color. Chain 1. And then next do your 2 double crochets into the same space. I like to catch that piece of yarn, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So I'm just yarning over, catching that strand, going in, pulling my yarn through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and I pull through all 3 of those loops. And then I do my second double. A double crochet into the top of the previous doubles. So that's 7 of them. 1, 2. Got our regular corner, 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles. Now technically the top of each stitch when you're on the right side leans to the right, and so it looks like the letter P. So for instance here, the top of this stitch is actually over here. So you have a couple of options. You can either go ahead and slip it in here where it belongs, or you can do 2 into this stitch here. My main point here is don't miss that 7th stitch. It's very, very easy to miss here. I'm just going to go ahead and just do 2 at the other side here. So I've done 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm going to do 1 more into the same space. Again, technically you should put it over here, but I just prefer the look of it down here. And now I'm just going to do my last 2 double crochets into the corner space. 1 and 2. So we're on the last round of this square, and because of that, I'm just going to do something a little bit differently. Instead of doing my chain 2 and adding my slip stitch, I'm not going to add that at all. I'm just going to do a slip stitch. And the reason I'm doing that is because it gives a little bit of a tighter look to the finished piece. Again, that is completely optional. If you want to do your chain 2 and then slip stitch, it'll look like this. And then it's just time to weave in the ends and you're all done. When we're turning our work after each round, it does change the look of the square slightly. You'll have ridges here that you normally wouldn't have if you're working on the same side only. All of those ridges would be on the back. So what I like to do for my solid color is to do the turning as well to keep the look consistent. And to do this, it's very simple to do. You're just going to follow the same sequence that you used for the two colored square. You'll complete round 1 as normal, adding a slip stitch into the top of the first chain 2 or 3 that you made. Turn your work and add a slip stitch into the corner, and then create the first half of that corner, doing a chain 2 or 3 for the first double, followed by another double crochet in that corner. Continue all the way around, and then to finish that round, you'll do 2 double crochets with a chain 2 to complete that first corner, slip stitch into the top of the chain 2, and then repeat the sequence for round 3. Easy peasy. For joining these together, I would recommend a flat seam join, and I have a video where I share 3 of my favorites that I'll go ahead and link to here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.